So in this video today, I'm going to show you guys how to basically get the inverse of a matrix using Gauss-Jordan elimination. And this is a very simple process. Might look a little long, but it's a very simple process and you can quickly get the inverse of any matrix. All right, so the first step is you want to rewrite your matrix. All right, and that's what we're going to do right here. Real quick, rewrite that matrix. All right. Yeah, and I chose a matrix with small numbers, but at the same time I included decimals and negative numbers as well. So this is just to show that even with maybe a little complex numbers, you can still very easily get the inverse of your matrix. And then once you write your matrix down, you want to just write an identity matrix right next to that. All right, if it's a 3 by so long as it's a square matrix, 2 by 2, 3 by 3, 4 by 4. Of course, 4 by 4 will be exponentially longer than a 3 by 3 matrix, and vice versa with a 2 by 2 matrix as well. So once you've written that, let's take this 3 by 3 matrix. Let's call this one row 1, this row 2, and this row 3. All right, being these rows right here. All right, and then from there, all right, basically the aim is to be able to make this left side become an identity matrix, and whatever values you have on this right side, that's going to be your inverse. All right, so the first step here is basically you want to make the coefficient of the pivot element in our first row, all right, to become 1. All right. This is a pivot element for this first row, this is a pivot element for the second row, and this is a pivot element for the third row. Right, notice that that's the diagonal. Okay, so we want this to be 1, we want this to be 1, we want this to be 1, and then we want everything else to be 0. Okay, so to make this 1, what we're gonna do is we're gonna basically take the first row and multiply it by -1. Okay, and then that's gonna give us 1, -2, -2, -1, 0, 0. Okay, and then 0.5, 2, okay, 1. All right, just rewrite that, -0.5, -2, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1. All right, we're gonna have that. And then from there, all right, we want to make sure the coefficient of the pivot element in that second row is 1 as well. So to make that happen, we're basically going to multiply our second row by 0.5. Okay, and that's going to give us basically this. And the reason why this might seem to be a little longer is basically because I am trying to break down every step for you guys. Make sure like you're seeing everything I'm doing, understanding everything I'm doing. All right, and you can always do these steps multiple at a time. Like you don't need to follow this exact same scheme. All right, so we're just gonna write that down like that. All right, notice now we already have 1 and 1 here. All right, and this is already 0, so I skip the step. This is already 0 right here. All right, so from there, we want to make sure the first and second elements of our third row, all right, and the pivot element being this one. So this one has to be 1, and these two ones have to be 0. All right, let me just separate that. So let's keep that separated. Okay, so from there, we basically want, all right, so what we're gonna do in this case is to take our third row, all right, and subtract that by 0.5 times our first row. And that in essence is going to eliminate this right here. So that is going to become our third row. All right, so we're gonna get 1, -2, -2, -1, 0, 0. All right, 0, 1, -0.25, 0.5, 0. Forgive me for the small handwriting. when I'm doing math, I just kind of like start writing small. I'll try to make that bigger as we go on. And this is going to be 0, 2, -1, -0.5, 0, 1. All right. Now we have 0 here, 0 here. All right. We just need a 0 here. All right. And we need this to become 1 as well. Forgive me, I will be going a little faster here, but basically from there, you want to multiply your second row by 2, and then subtract that from your third row, and that's going to give you a new third row. You want to multiply your second row by 2, and add that to your first row. That's going to give you your first row, and we're doing this all to basically make this element 0 and this 0 as well. So that's going to give us 1, 0, -2.5, -1, 1, 0, and 0, 1, -0.25, 0.5, 0, 0, 0, -0.5, 0.5, -1, 1. All right, and then here we basically have these elements are 0, and this is 0, and this is 1. So basically all we need this to be 1, this to be 0, and this to be 0 as well. So from here, since we want this one to become 1, we're gonna take our third row and multiply that by -2. All right, and that's going to give us 1, 0, -2.5, 0, 1, -0.25, all right, 0, 0, 1, all right, and on this side we are going to have -1, 1, 0, 0.5, 0, and -1, 2, -2, all right. And then our last steps will be to make these two elements become 0. So we will have to modify row 1 and row 2. So to modify row 2, we are going to add 0.25 times row 3 to row 2, and that's going to give us a new row 2. And then to modify row 1, we are going to add 2.5 times row 3 to row 1. That's going to give us a new row 1. The reason why we are adding this row 3 or multiples of this third row to the first and second one is because this third row has zeros on the first two elements, and because of that, adding or subtracting this multiples of this row to other rows only changes these values forward, not these two ones. And that's been the theme basically with this whole process, making these values 0 so we can basically affect only a specific element to a specific row, right? So what we're gonna get here basically is going to be 1, 0, 0, -3.5, 6, -5, right? And here we're gonna get 0, 1, -0.25, right? 0.50, that stays unchanged. And then on the third and final row, we're gonna get 0, 0, 1, -1, right? 2, -2. Okay. Sorry. This is supposed to be 0, and this is supposed to be 1, and this is supposed to be -0.5. All right. And this is supposed to be -0.25. All right. So basically, what we're gonna get here as our final answer, basically the inverse of our matrix is going to be, all right, -3.5, 6, -5, -2.5, or -0.25, sorry, 1, negative 0.5, negative 1, 2, negative 2. All right, that's it. Thank you.